What is the spiritual experience? What is that thing we seek for? Oftentimes people will say to me, I'm having a spiritual experience right now. Or, they're searching for the next aha moment, the next big light show. I did a video a long time ago about don't look for the light show. I think there's something that I've never fully expressed on this channel that I really feel I want to try to say this in a way that gives you a clarity of what I truly believe. Your life is a spiritual experience. Simply being here is a spiritual experience. So looking for the aha moments, the moments that are spiritual, is a futile attempt, because everything you do in every day is a spiritual experience. We are the creators of our experience. Well, John, how do you create? How do you da-da-da-da-da? You create in every moment of every day. The only difference is you don't acknowledge it and you don't step into the role of actually guiding the creation. The reality of it is you need to step into that role if you want to see something miraculous. Because every day we create from our belief. Every day we create from our subconscious belief. Struggle equals growth. That's a creative belief. That's a spiritual creation, spiritual manifestation. Struggle equals growth, and I'm growing, so I struggle, right? You are a creator in every moment of every day. And finding the connection to source and finding the pathway to source is almost madness. Because it's like saying, I'm home, now I've got to find home. And you need to look at your experience to realize every moment of every day. When I talk about the idea of going into the grocery store, feeling that love, what I'm really doing is I'm going, okay, I know full well I am here to experience my stresses, my anxieties, my fears, so that I can come to know love more fully. And going, okay, today I'm going to walk into this store and I release those fears for a short time, and I walk in with a smile on my face. People smile. People talk with me. People interact with me. They don't judge me. It doesn't matter, race, color, creed. Everybody does it because that's a spiritual experience. And every night when we fall asleep, we're shifting to a different consciousness, a different vibration. Where do we go? We release the physical body for a while and we rest in ourselves. We rest in our nature of being in a different conscious state. And we know that this is true because, after a certain amount of time, our body just shuts off and we fall asleep because we can't maintain here. We can maintain there for eternity, right? But the interesting thing is, being here, you can and instantly feel energized. Why? Because of the fact that you have just released the one thing that makes you feel separate. Your fears, your anxieties, your responsibilities. Let it go, right? There's nothing good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. I love Shakespeare. Right? Letting it go is your choice. You have the ability to go and feel great, right? You have the ability, people, I'm doing the fast right now, and people are saying to me, well, tell me the spiritual significance of blood. There is no spiritual significance of it. None whatsoever. There's no spiritual significance of it. There is no spiritual experience that I'm having because of it. I'm doing it for my health. and it feels good to just not be bloated, right? Now, the physical body is a product of the physical world, and has certain things that it has to deal with, right? The laws of the physical world, right? For the most part, and most of those are laws we put belief in, so we believe them. But my clarity of thought during the fast is not because I'm closer to God, because I'm never away from God. God is me, and I am God, and we are together as one always. And I'm creating with God in every moment, and God is at the bottom of every breath I take, and God is there. My clarity of mind is because the physical body is now running off of ketones instead of glucose. That's just, and the brain likes ketones better than it likes glucose. So my clarity of mind is that. It's not a spiritual experience. It's not something that's making me feel closer to God in any way, shape, or form, right? My desire to purge is because I'm in the thought process of purging, so I am creating purging of my life, purging things that don't fit. That's why I fast, because I'm purging the things in my body that are not in alignment with my health. I'm purging my house right now with the things that aren't in alignment with who I am. That's why I purge. That's why I'm doing these things, because it comes down to the idea of you need to look at your life from the perspective of you're never not having a spiritual experience, because being here is part of the spiritual experience. Being here is having that opposite, that separation as a spiritual lesson. There is nothing you do in your life that isn't spiritual. And the quote you've heard me say in many videos, I'm going to say it again. When you seek a path will be laid before you. But until you turn your path back to yourself, you will never find the doorway. Well, the doorway into self is realizing that you yourself are spiritual. You yourself are God. You are part of God. You are one with God. And God is the creative energy behind your belief. And so you have to step into the role of saying, I'm going to consciously create. I'm going to consciously create something different. And your subconscious mind, when you start doing this, will get filled with the belief that you're the creator of your experience. And suddenly your creative self is being expressed in subconscious belief, and you become more empowered because now you're actively thinking in a new subconscious belief. You're born again to a new subconscious belief, and that new subconscious belief is now on autopilot in your world, and you're creating amazing things. I when I do my private sessions with people, I often tell stories of my experience because that fit with what they need to learn. And it's like speaking in parables, which is another video that's coming up very soon. And so I wanted to make sure that when I tell these stories, there's so many stories to dive into. And the reason I have so many stories is because my subconscious mind is filled with more creation stories than most people's lives, because they haven't started consciously creating yet, consciously being one with God and realizing they are never separate, they are never alone, they are always creating. And sometimes that creation is subconscious, and you've got to grab a hold of your conscious moment to change your subconscious belief. And when you change that subconscious belief, you create. I am never alone. I am always with God. I am always with Spirit, because God and I are one. The Father and I are one. We are one together. Greater works than I have done, you will do. That's what Jeshua said, right? That's what I say too. Anything that I've experienced in my life sounds crazy and miraculous sometimes. But you're creating too, just like I am. Any experience that you're having in your life is a creation. And you can look back and realize, well, I believe this. Someone today said something about telling their children they can't afford something. And I was like, instead of telling them they can't afford something and creating a belief of lack, why don't you say, oh, that's what you want? Okay. How are we going to make the money to do that? And get them thinking about methods of creating. What are some cool things? And do it positively. Don't go, well, you tell me how we're going to do it. No. Say, okay, well, we don't have the money right now, but how are we going to get the money? What can we do? What's something we can do to get the money to get that? You start getting them to think creatively like that. I am creating this. I'm great. And then you can bridge a gap later and say you don't even need to figure out how. You can just ask. But you have to lay the groundwork of them being the creator. Because most of my stories, I never asked how. I just declared I was getting and I got. And so I know full well that life is a spiritual experience. I know full well that the physical world is a spiritual experience. I know full well that if I take on too much burden, my back will start to hurt because I'm carrying too much burden. So my entire experience is spiritual. And nothing I do in this physical world is any more spiritual than anything else I do. The difference, and here's the interesting thing, I'm joyful, I'm ecstatic about the life I'm living. I'm ecstatic about it. And every one of you has the ability. Every one of you has the ability, and the reason I can say that is because you're already doing it. You're already creating. It's just a matter of acknowledging you're the creator and consciously creating rather than subconsciously creating. So that's my belief on this, and I hope this reaches the people who need to hear this today because it's important. Don't look for the next aha moment. Live your aha moment. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.